Hello and welcome to episode 37 of Unemployed to Unstoppable. I think it's safe to say the promotion bounce is well and truly worn off. We're on a really bad run of form. We're struggling to score goals, but we have made some transfers. So let's get through where we are. So results-wise, probably the first thing to catch up on. Since we had that fantastic victory at Man United, we followed it up with a 2-1 win away at Newcastle. Hansen, Aaron and Cordiano getting the goals. Then we started a bit of a shaky start against Tottenham. We got a 2-0 defeat. Pretty one-sided. I don't think they were a much better team. We then managed to recover and get a 1-0 win at West Ham with a penalty from Alfie Devine. And that's kind of the last positive result we've really had. We hit a really bad patch of form with a 1-0 loss away at Brighton. 0-0 at home to Bournemouth. 2-1 defeat away at Everton with Somalani getting our only goal. 2-0 loss at home to Leicester, 2-1 loss at home to Chelsea with Helander getting a goal. Aston Villa was 0-0, and then Man City we got beat 1-0, which in isolation isn't a particularly bad result, but when you take that as a collective, December was not a great month for the mighty Millwall. Squad-wise, we have made a couple little transfers. I think recognising that we're not scoring particularly many goals since we moved up to the Premier League, I thought a striker was probably the first thing on the cards we needed to address. Our scouts did find us a striker called Brian Vinuesa from Real Hispalis. We've spent 14 million for him. He's 3.5-star current potential with up to 5-star potential. He's a 30 cap international for Ecuador with 7 goals. And as you can see, he is a massive upgrade on what we had already. So he's massively good in technique, dribbling, finishing, acceleration. He's got a good enough pace. He's good off the ball. He's got some work rate. So I really think he might be a player to start sparking us up again up front. To fund that, unfortunately, we've had to let a couple players go. The ones we want to let go were kind of on the peripherals, really. So we got rid of Amaro Nalo, who we'd got initially as a promising centre-half. But his potential had only dropped to 3 stars. So we let him go to Leeds for 10 million. And then Cade Gordon, who was pretty much third choice right winger by that stage. Even Kevin Zeffy was playing there ahead of him. We let him go to West Brom for 12.5 million. So it's still, in terms of transfers in, we've spent 40 million. Transfers out, we spent 23. We've still got a little bit of money in the kitty if we need to spend it. But I think squad planner wise and squad wise, we're doing all right. The only other bit of bad news is Hans Olander, which is our best centre half. He's picked up an injury and he's going to be out for 2 to 3 months with a hip injury. And that's a massive blow to us. 21-year-old Sweden with 41 caps. I mean, he's going to have a huge amount of caps for his country. But he was easily our best starting centre half. Now we've let Hinalo go and Olander's injured. We're getting a little bit thin at the back. So we've still got Kerr Smith, who we had last season. We've got Timu Helander, who's in on loan. We've got Kirkpatrick, who's in on loan, and we've got Borisov. So we've got the 3 loan centre-halves, which looked like we had massive amount of defenders at the start of the season. That's been whittled down a little bit to fund a new striker, but that's where we are. In terms of this episode then, we've got a away match at Arsenal, where we can hopefully turn our form around and get a much more happier January. We'll also see the debut from our new striker. And then we've got a QPR in the home round in the FA Cup third round, where we can hopefully progress in the Cup and compete for some kind of domestic honour. Because I think league-wise, we have slipped down a little bit. We were up as high as the third at one point before we hit December, and we've slid down the table. I don't think we're in any danger of relegation. We're 20 games in, so we've got 18 games left to go. We are 13 points clear of Sheffield United, so I think we'll achieve our goals. But I don't think we'll be able to creep into that European spots. I think them teams are much bigger than us, and it's going to be a hard gap to bridge. However, when you look in the squad and look at the players we brought in, we are starting to find more and more 4.5 to 5-star potential players that we're getting full time. So as that starts to creep up, we will start to get better. They need a couple of years to develop, so we're moving in the right direction. Everything is positive. With all that being said, we'll get into the games because that's what we're here to see, so stay tuned. And here we go then for the away game at Arsenal. Vinuesa's not fully fit yet since he signed. He only signed on the 1st of January, which is today, so he might well come on for a little bit of a a cameo at the end, but he won't be starting the match. So we've got Anton in goals, a back four of Harwood, Borisov, Smith and Shahar at the back. We've got Mitchell, Diouf and Devine in the middle of the park. We've got a great relationship. And then you've got Zeffi on the left, Somolani on the right and Codrianu up front, which it's going to be a tough game. Arsenal, I think, are probably substantially bigger than us in terms of wage budgets, club size, the player standards, etc. But I think if we go out there with a cautious approach, like we've said there, we've got nothing to lose. They're expected to win. All the pressure is on them. We might be able to sneak something against the run of play, but let's see what we can do. We need to stop the rot. It's got to stop somewhere, and why not? Why not Arsenal? I mean, in the mix of games we did, we beat West Ham, which is one of our kind of London rivals, which was a massively good result to get. One for the mighty Millwall over the Hammers, but can we do the same against Arsenal? To be honest, to take a 0-0, but we'll see. We've been really shot shy trying to get goals. As Diouf puts a corner in, Codrianu, it breaks to him, but look, he's lost the ball there. Can he chase down Jan and get it back? No, and this is the threat from Arsenal, is they've got quite a pacey team. They might be able to catch us on the, I'd say on the break. They've taken a long patient build up on this one, but this was still ultimately from our corner. Saliba back to Inacio. They're starting to pick up a bit of pace moving forward now. Martinelli down the left hand side. Devine gets it back initially, but he plays it through to Jesus. A bit of faffing about in the back four there, giving them the ball back in our penalty area, which is criminal. It looked like Devine had done the hard work here to get back in and win it. Just clear out down the bottom, put it to your right back and play it away. But no, 1-0 down at Arsenal again. Not surprised, but also not what we wanted. Somolani not having a great game on the right hand side. Zeffi for Hansen Aaron because Zeffi is tired, and I think in the second half we might get Codrianu off, maybe drop him onto the right hand side for Somolani and get our new striker in up front. So it's only 1-0, it's not the end of the world, but what we will do is pause the game. Harwood for Langelo. Then we'll get Codrianu swap with Somolani. Somolani swap with Vinweza. Get him on for his debut, and as long as we don't pick up some kind of ridiculous injury similar to Helander, we'll be fine. But we need to get him a couple minutes before we break him into the second half of the season, because he's going to be our main threat up top. Codrianu for Diaz. That's probably the final change we can make. 25 minutes to go. We'll go a little bit more balanced. Shout a little bit of encouragement. Alfie Devine not having a great game either. Shahar now down the right hand side. Will this be a chance for us to get it, or are they going to win it high? They look like they've got a high press into Diouf. Diaz down the right hand side, just come on substitute. In it goes to Vinweza, and he's picked up a goal on his debut. Not fully fit yet, but the new signing getting off to an early start on the goal scoring trail. So Diaz down the right hand side, breaks to the byline, cuts it across to Vinweza. First touch we see him on camera, and he slams it in the back of the net to put us 1-1 with Arsenal. Do we have it in us to dig deep and pull out a second, or is that being a bit too ambitious as Odegaard throws in a cross, initially punched away by the goalkeeper? Nico breaks into the box, but good strong hands by Aaron, safe hands, keeps a hold of it. As we've got about 8 minutes to go, can we survive this and get away with a point? I think Arsenal, they've got other plans in mind. And it goes to Odegaard, another save, gets the ball away. And I kind of just want these minutes to drift away now. In goes a corner, just over the crossbar. We're down to 5 minutes now. It's building up a little bit of head of steam against us. 5 minutes of injury time. Diouf to mark Odegaard. Player's really tired in the middle of the park. A minute to go. Odegaard plays in across to Musa. He slides it across to Nico. And, I mean, that's tough to take in the 95th minute. Completely open at the back. And where we nearly snatched a point, which would have been massively positive. We've gone down to a 2-1 defeat. The rot continues, but positive thing is Vinweza's got some minutes out. We've got to get him recovered for the next game. But we did give it a good go. I just think we're not quite at that level yet. But we started to sign the players. We've got a really young squad, like 19 to 20-year-olds. We just need a couple of years development to get them in. I'm picking up some criticism for the tactics. I don't think the tactics necessarily that bad. Vinweza scored on his debut, but I'll get through to the QPR game. As someone a bit more around about our level, I'd say we're slightly favourites for that game. But we'll go into that one with a positive mindset and see if we can end the episode on a high. So stick around for the second match. And here we go for the home game against Millwall. A bit of bad news that came in was Haylander, who we had in on loan, one of the centre-halves. He's been recalled by his club at Benfica, which means we're now down to an even smaller pool of centre-halves. So start lineup for today, we've got Anton in goals. We've got a back four of Langelo, Borisov, Smith and Diaz. Bramall comes in at anchor man alongside Alves and Aaron in the middle of the pitch. Got Zeffi, Somalani and a full debut for Vinweza up top. So starting to get a bit of a struggle in terms of the squad. We're going to have to go out looking and go out shopping in the January transfer window for a new centre-half. We'll do that after this game. Probably won't get it before the end of the episode. But it's really starting to pile up in terms of the injuries making a big difference to our squad, which is quite small, a little bit stretched. So we've gone from having 7 centre-halves to only having 3, which isn't ideal. But we'll try and either get another one in on loan, because there should be a free loan space up now, or we will look and try and spend that 4 or 5 million with the wage budget we've got left to get someone in, as Smith gets a header from a corner. How we've missed that and we've needed it. 14 minutes into the game, Vinweza taking the corners. He's really good at set pieces actually. He's got a trait where he hits free kicks with power, so I'm hoping we get a few more goals from the edge of the box as well. As Alves goes down the right hand side, Somalani cuts inside, plays it to Zeffi down the left, who breaks into the box and he curls one to the bottom corner, but it hits the post. We're looking a bit more threatening now. Obviously the last few games we've played against the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, it's quite hard to keep playing them teams over and over again, so it's nice to have a team, no disrespect to QPR, but that aren't that much ahead of us or aren't as developed as them big massive clubs. So we're looking really promising up top. We've had 7 shots, 4 on target in the first half hour, and we can see if we can build on that. If we can get a second goal, brilliant. We might be able to rest some of the centre halves as we go into the next few fixtures. Certainly Bramall being out injured for a while I think's affected our results. There we go. Speak his name and he shall score. Bramall at the back post with a header. Longello delivering a free kick. Bramall completely unmarked at the back post to put us 2-0 up. And I think that should in theory make the tie relatively safe. We will look at making a couple substitutions. Diaz for Shahar is probably looking like one if he's taken a knock. I'll just start the second half and we'll go in and make some changes. So we'll get Diaz off, Shahar on. I'd quite like to get some minutes for Codriano. Don't think he can really play out on the left. Somalani's having a good game, so maybe leave him for now. Got anyone tired in the middle of the park? Hansen Aaron's a bit tired, so we'll maybe get Tufon there. And I think that should do for now. Give Vinweza a little bit more time, because he needs to get his match fitness up. And we'll get on with the second half. So I mean, they've not had a shot on target yet, or a shot at all. So this one really dominating performance, which we've needed. We've needed this little pickup. It'll not only help the morale, but it'll help us as we build into the next few fixtures to try and get some more points on the board, because we've still not hit that magical mighty 40 points mark total, which would ensure our safety in the Premier League. Nothing really happened in terms of job offers either. We've not had any kind of peeps or nibbles from any of the other clubs in the Premier League, which I thought we might do, as Vinweza breaks through and he's hit the post. Juve picks up the rebound and we make it 3. Unlucky for Vinweza there. It could have been his second goal in 2 games. Somalani with a good little ball over the top from the right hand side. Good first touch from Vinweza. Slides it past the keeper, but it's come off the post. And Jufu came on as a substitute, was able to just tap it home into an empty net to make it 3-0 to the Lions. Zeffy for Harwood on the left side, so I think it looks like we're going to bring a left back in up top. Although I did click it, it's not happened. Anyway, it's the last couple of minutes, 4 minutes of injury time. Shahar will pick up the ball and will rotate it back through the centre halves. He'll break down the right hand side and deliver something into the box. Vinways is up there for a header, and he does get his second goal in 2 games. So the new signing, the new Millwall hero, he's only 21 years of age. He will be here for a long time. I think he does have a ridiculous 70 million release clause to a Champions League club, but I think this might be a truly spectacular capture for Millwall here. New number 9, new hero, back in the goals, and hopefully we can carry that forward for the rest of the season. So once again, thanks for watching. It's going really well. We've got through that December blip. Now it's about taking that form with the new players we've got. Maybe add in a centre half if we've got the budget to do so. I'm pushing on towards the end of the season. For those of you who don't know, there is a new series starting, which is the Youth Intake Challenge. It's still running on the channel. It's under a different series tag, but take a look if you're interested. It's where we take a brand new club in the lowest league in England. You're not allowed to sign any players, and the goal is to try and win the domestic Premier League. So a very difficult challenge. It's going to be interesting, but if you like this sort of save, have a look at that one as well in case it's up your street. And until next time, all enjoy yourselves, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.